Hi guys, what's going on? Okay, so let's get started. So we're going to use this one. I'm probably going to use it for about 20 minutes and then I'm going to go ahead and move over, or we'll continue it tomorrow. So I put this up here so that you guys can see the attendance sheet. Okay, that's an attendance sheet that I actually use. Okay, but you can use that as far as when you are starting class with me. Okay, so if you're starting class on YouTube, or and you want to keep up with what class you've seen, okay, what you've done already, you can use a sheet like this. Okay. Um, I'll put this on a download. These sheets are actually in the Sapphire Academy, but you can also have access to a sheet like that. Okay. Now, some things that I can do on this format, I cannot do in OBS, but I want you guys to take heed to that sheet because these are, again, these are resources that's going to help you with your course. Okay. Even though you guys are on YouTube. Okay. These are resources that will get you going. This is what is in the Sapphire Academy. Okay, when you join Sapphire Academy, you get abundance of information to help you out with Sapphire Academy, help you navigate through Sapphire Academy. Okay, so just don't sleep on all of the information that is in the Sapphire Academy that you can use with this course. Okay. So we're just going to kind of get right to it. So you guys know we're in a step by step. Okay, this is going to be quick. This might be 30 minutes. Okay, and I might have to come back on tomorrow. Okay, so in the step by step, we were actually coming out of musculoskeletal system. You guys should have already done your workbook exercises. So the workbook exercises and a couple of things that I usually show you in the book, we can't really do on this one, but I'll switch over to the other one. But I can still see it. Okay. But in the step by step book, did I hit the wrong thing? Trying to hit that. In the step by step book, I want you to still go over your musculoskeletal system. Okay. It's chapter 15 in your step by step book. Okay. So we went over this before. This is where you guys should be at. Okay. In this book, again, there are exercises in this book. Okay, I want you to also go over your workbook. Go over your workbook. Remember, we talked about open treatment, closed treatment, manipulation. You're going to also go through that. And like I said, there are some exercises for you to do in your reading material. Okay. Pay close attention to dislocations. Okay. Dislocation is the displacement of a bone from its normal location in a joint. As you are reading, use your highlighter. You remember I told you guys to use your highlighter as you are reading? Use your highlighters, okay? Because that's how you're going to stay on track in what you've read. Because when you highlight something, it stands out. It stands out when you highlight something, okay? In your step-by-step book, I'm not sure why that's there. In your step-by-step book, I want you to make sure that you use, I don't know, make some type of a index where you can hold it so you can make sure that you get back to the page that you're on. Okay. So again, make sure you go over dislocation. They may ask information about that. Okay. You may have questions on that. Okay, so again, there was CPT codes that you were supposed to do, also ICD-10 that you were supposed to do. Okay, I know some of the stuff in here is invasive, but you guys should have your book and you should be looking at this. Okay, this is in the step-by-step book. Excision. Okay, make sure you go over that. If you guys have your CPT book, go look at code 20150. Okay, the excision category. Okay, take a look at that. Okay, and again, if you guys have any questions, you guys can go ahead and DM me. Okay, but I encourage you to join the Sapphire Academy. Okay, you get more resources and you get more contact. Okay, percutaneous biopsy. Okay, I'm on page 415. Okay, I want you to read. I think you can go up to removal. Go up to removal codes. Okay. Don't you don't have to look up any of those right now because right now I'm just kind of scrolling through. Give you a couple of codes that I want you to look up. 20600. Take a look at those codes. 20611. Okay. Some of these codes that I see on here, I have seen them. Yeah, you might get some of these on the test. But again, I don't want to pinpoint what you're going to see and what you're not going to see. I want you to study everything. Okay, open reduction with internal fixation. That abbreviation is ORIF. Why, Miss Lambert? Because it might be something that's on your chest. Okay. Most of the time, when I give you guys something that I think is going to be on the chest, I'm going to double say it. Okay. So, yeah, no, I'm going to double say it. So I have my book open. I'm hoping you have your book open. Okay. And again, musculoskeletal system, that's what you're doing. And you've also done, you've done this already, but I'm just kind of going over it. Tissue graft, spine surgery. This is a big section. This is a big section. Spinal instrumentation. That I want you to look at. Absolutely. There are some illustrations that's here. I'm on page 420. Make sure you pay attention to T8, T9, T10, T12. You remember we went over that in some of your earlier classes. I want you to go back over that because this is where that's going to come into place. When you're talking about looking at the spine and different things like that, those type of bones, they have codes on them. And we went through that. So make sure, those of you who are new in this classroom, make sure you go over that, okay? I'm on page 420. Okay, I'm moving to 421. This is important. So we're going to talk about application of cast and strapping. Okay, so those of you YouTube, you guys are working literally on your own. You're working independently. Okay, I want you to read that page 421. Application of a cast and strapping. Application of cast and strapping codes 29000 29799. Highlight that. Okay, are used for the initial or subsequent treatment of fractures, ligaments, sprains, tears, okay, overuse injuries. Yeah, that's, running up and down the basketball court, weighing out yourself. Okay, so check that out. And right here as well, strapping is the taping of a body part. Okay, right here where you get the splints. Splints are made of wood, cloth, metal. They're not going to ask you what they're made of, but you never know what's going to be at a test. So make sure you take heed to that. So there are illustrations in here that kind of give you, examples of what strapping is. They're pretty much strapping something up. When you see those basketball players, and sometimes they have something taped around them. It's like strapping. Not like a boxer. That's a different type of strapping. You know how you take an ace bandage and you wrap it around your foot or something like that? Yeah, that's kind of considered that type of, strapping. Okay. So let me see. I thought there would be more tests down here, but there's not that many. Okay, so I'm at 15.4, and 15.4 is a replacement cast during the global period of fracture care may require which modifier. Now, go to your modifiers in your CPT book. Okay, remember we did the modifier class. Go to your modifiers in your book and just kind of review all of them. Okay, review all of them because you are going to have them on your test. And yes, you already have your book, but you don't want to take too long looking for what you need. Just go straight to what you need and get the answer and be out of there. Okay, I'm on 15-4. That's just a question in there. Okay, and it says answers are located in Appendix A. Appendix B. That's your CPT book. Okay, and you guys know there are codes, HCPCS codes that have modifiers, but they don't want that. They want the Appendix B. All right. So you can report the application of cast and strapping codes only when the physician, and they're giving you choices. Okay, I'm not going to read it because you have your book already. Okay, and again, we're just kind of backing our way out of this. Okay, so 15.3, application of cash and strapping. So if we already read that portion, then you shouldn't have a problem doing that. Everything that you see in the step-by-step book is formatted the same way: reading, exercise, reading, exercise. So if you get to the exercise and you forgot something, backtrack to the reading, backtrack to that reading. Okay. Um, when you get to your workbook, okay, you guys should have the workbook. I did put something below with the workbook information on it. If you have your workbook, you're going to do the same thing. Just go back to the chapter that you just read and answer those questions. The more exercise you do, the better you will get. But if you don't read it and take it in, you're not going to get the answers. Okay, so I know StreamYard won't let me put the book up. Every time I put something up, they all of a sudden snatches out. Endoscopy, arthroscopy. Now, again, if you want to get more of interaction with this, you guys need to join the Sapphire coding. Okay. Here, you guys should be in the right place, but sometimes you just need that extra nudgy nudge. Sometimes you need to actually talk to your instructor. Some people like that. Depends on how you want to learn. I mean, some people can't learn without talking to the instructor, or without seeing that hands-on. And that's what Sapphire Academy is. There's no speed like camos. You send me something through Sapphire Academy, I'm going to get a ping in my phone, and I know it's in there. I don't know why, but I miss a lot of stuff going on in YouTube. Sometimes I answer stuff. One time I saw something like 6 days late, and I don't know. I must have missed that one. Okay. So again, your musculoskeletal class, that's what we're in right now. Okay, so surgical arthroscopy of ankle, which included extensive debridement. Now, y'all know what debridement is. If you don't know what debridement is, I want you to look it up. Okay, look it up and go back and do your medical terminology class. Okay, chapter review. Without the use of reference material. Well, you can use whatever material you want. Basically, Buck is just saying, I want you to do this without looking. You can look, okay? Because you're going to have a lot more to do other than this. And this is pretty good because there's a lot of codes in here. Don't forget, biopsy of superficial muscle. I'm just giving you an example. Don't forget you have to go to your tabular list. The tabular list is going to put you in the right place. You guys remember we went over the coding in the CPT book and how to hit those codes. Now, I don't know, you may not have enough time on your test to do that, but as you are learning, I want you to look for your code in the tabular list. Let the tabular list put you in the right place. So if it says musculoskeletal, muscle something sprain, go look for sprain. Normally we code in reverse. If you're looking for a code, biopsy of a superficial muscle, they only want a CPT code. So if you go look for a biopsy, right, and you don't find superficial muscle, flip it. Muscle, then look for biopsy, and then superficial. So you remember, it's subcategory, category, subcategory, and every time it indents, it's giving you more detailed information. Okay, so the CPT is going to be next, and what you're going to be working in. So again, those of you who are, all of y'all are working independent. When you get to your CPT book, you're generally, all of these codes that you have to look for, that's your second step in the musculoskeletal class. You need to have your book at this point. Okay. You need to have your book at this point. I'm going to crack it in. I got mine on here, but I like this one because I can see what you can see. Okay, so that's why I'm gonna use my. I can see what you can see. Okay, but again, always put the books up that you need. This is the one you need for this class. Okay, because this is your advanced class. Once we finish with this step by step, okay. I mean, you're working with this complicit with the step by step. but you will be more into this book. So right now in your musculoskeletal system, you have plenty of exercises to do in there. So I don't want you guys to miss anything. If you get stuck, good, because then I know you're working hard. Okay, you're working hard on it. Okay, if there is codes in there that have ICD-10, use your ICD-10 book. Okay. Don't worry about the codes. If you got a 2025 or 2024, it's okay. Shouldn't be much that changed. If it did change, let me know. I'll give you the right code. Okay. We did this in the other class, but this is what you're going to use to tab your book. Okay. I don't know what I do with those tabs. Next class, I'll show them to you. I'm pretty sure they're in a case over there. But that's how you're going to find what you need to find. Okay. Same thing for the other class. Okay. I know I haven't even opened these books yet, but we're gonna get these books open. Okay, we're gonna get these books open. I don't even know which one is this. That's the Hicks Fix book. Okay. But there are a lot of questions, okay, in the step-by-step book. And what I'm looking at right now, again, when you go through your CPT book, you remember we code in reverse. But because you are new and you're just starting, once you get those fingers going and you start looking for those codes, you get it the right way for you. So again, biopsy of superficial, go look for biopsy, go look for superficial, go look for muscle. It ain't working, flip it, go backwards. Okay. Radical resection of a 2.7 centimeter sarcoma of the soft tissue of the upper back. I know it sounds weird, but it's only a CPT code. Okay. Go look for radical resection, and then it's going to guide you. Okay. It might say, go look for this in sarcoma. Go look for sarcoma. And then let it put you in the right place. Once you find the code that identifies what you have right there, then you're going to go to it. Okay. And then as you're reading in your subsection, I guarantee you find your code. Okay. Incision and drainage of bursar elbow. Same thing. You can go to incision, go to elbow, find your code. The more you do the coding, the more you will see which one is best for you. Okay. And then you will see yourself get faster. Why, Miss Lambert? Because the more you code, the faster you will get. The more you code, the faster you will get. It's just like any other quiz. Boom, 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 boom. Now, I'm not when you're out there in the real world and you're doing the coding, it's not going to be boom, 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 boom. You better make sure you are right. You're not on no time schedule. Just everything needs to be in by the end of the month. Okay. Well, I don't know. By Friday, I'm looking to see what they're doing. So in the real world, we want those codes in by the end of the month. Everything needs to drop. Okay, we need to see how much money get back. That's a higher level, but I need to see how much money we get ready to get the first of the month. Okay, but in the real world, when you are coding, you're gonna have tools that's gonna help you. But when you taking your test, you have to do what's best for you. Okay, I'm working on resources in Sapphire Academy because the CIMO is one of them. I'm working on the CIMO. I'm working on CIMO because I get a lot of students who are not familiar with the EHR system, okay, with the EHR program and how it goes, okay? So that is the reason why I'm working on that. So sometimes I'm not on YouTube because I'm working in Sapphire, okay? And again, Sapphire is your go-to. Okay, look at my website if you want to see your schedule and what we do in the classroom. Okay. Let me see. I was trying to see if I had something in this file, but I don't know. I guess this stuff doesn't stay in the file long because it's not in here. So I had a schedule in here, but I mean, it's okay. You guys can see all of the classes on my website. If you want to see, what classes are we doing, what classes Miss Lambert's doing. Okay. Oh, this must be crossed up. This is the one I wanted to show you from before. I don't know. Let me see if I can get this one up here. So, again, make sure that's the code. That's the code right there. You guys, so I put this up here because when you go into Sapphire Academy, I get a lot of questions on this. When you go into Sapphire Academy, you're going to see this is in your orientation, and there's going to be a code there. Okay, there's going to be a code there to help you out. Okay, that code is to get you all the rest of the classes. Okay, I know I just kind of threw that in there. I saw it. So again, when you are doing your coding, um, there are 14. There's 14 codes, and there are ICD-10. Okay, so there are ICD-10. So you guys are going to do ICD-10 as well in this book. Okay, just make sure that you write them on the index card or something like that. Okay. Yeah, in the Sapphire Academy, there is an answer sheet in there. That's why I want you guys to join the Sapphire Academy so you can get all these resources. Okay. Yes, and you get to talk to a live instructor. Okay. Learning objective, that's just chapter review. Okay, you guys can go ahead and do that if you want to. All factors and dislocations and reports are based on what? That is information that you've already read. We did that at the beginning. At the end of each chapter in your step by step, that's what you're going to do. Okay. But again, there are exercises all throughout this book. Okay, there are exercises all throughout this book. If you guys need more time on this book, we can absolutely stay on musculoskeletal a little bit more if you guys need more time. But I want to make sure that you guys are clear on the coding. So remember, when you are coding, if you have to code in reverse, code in reverse. When I say code in reverse, go to the tabular list. Okay. Go to your tabular list, look for your code, look for your medical terminology code, look for your term, look for your code description. I know I'm just giving you different names, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Okay. Your tabular list, if you have your book, okay, your tabular list is in the back of the book. Okay. It's just like a dictionary. I know. That's why I don't carry it. It's kind of heavy. But again, and there are illustrations also in here. We haven't gotten to vascular families yet. We're gonna have fun with that one. Vascular families is on 996. Is there anything on the chest on that? Yep. I'm telling you why, because they have to make sure that you went through this full book. That's where they get their questions at. So again, just make sure you go through your whole book. When you get to your tabular list, you'll see stuff in there that you are not familiar with. We don't expect you to remember everything. Okay, go to manipulation in your back of your book. Go to manipulation. I ain't gonna tell you which page it is. I want y'all to go to manipulation. Okay, and again, this is getting you used to your book. Getting you used to your book. So go to manipulation. Then I want you to find finger, and then I want you to find joint. Okay. You should come up with code 26340, right? So now go to code 26340. Okay. Where you going through that at the beginning of your book? Okay. It's that simple. The thing about it is you have to constantly do it. After you looking in this tabular list, constantly, you're constantly looking in here. Eventually, you'll kind of get used to some of the stuff that you're seeing. Okay, I don't want you to be afraid of it. Go look for the code excision. So basically, you're looking for excision. Okay, where was the incision? Where was it? Go find excision. I'm not going to tell you where it is. Go find excision. Okay. Now I want to know, where was the excision done at? Okay. Yeah, and what it was done. what was done and where was it. Okay, so the provider did an excision of an abscess on the forearm. Imagine that's a note. Okay, there was an excision done, right? Abscess, where was the abscess? On the forearm. Excision done in the abdomen, right? What was the reason? The patient had a tumor, right? 49186. Okay. There was an excision done on the patient's brain. Why? Because the patient had a cyst. Go find that code. Okay. 61516. Okay. The way I'm talking to you is the way you will see these things in a report. So again, when you are coding musculoskeletal system, I want you to be able to visualize some of what you're reading. Same thing with integumentary system. I'm not necessarily pulling out codes that has to do with that. I'm just kind of going through the back. But I want you to generally pull out the codes that you need. Okay. So if we go to, you're in your tabular list, right? Go to pull up. Let me see. I just want us all to be on the same page where we're going. Okay, and in your tabular list, that's where you're going to get used to going through this. Okay. I've been seeing tabulars. Y'all know I'm in index, right? Go to abdomen. Go to abdomen. Okay. Go to abdomen. And just kind of look at those codes down there in that index, and you can see the similarities in types of surgeries that the patient could have had. Okay. That the patient could have had. Okay. And the only way you're going to get used to this is if you keep looking at this book. Okay. Your tabular list is in your ICD-10 book. Okay. That's your tabular list. Okay. And your CPT is going to be your index. Okay. I'm looking for. Go to yeah, I don't want that code. Go to muscle flaps. Go to muscle flaps. So go to muscle, look at flaps. Okay. And this is just kind of getting you again used to looking at your book, used to looking at your CPT book. Okay. When you start looking at your tabular list, to find a diagnosis code is easier. It's a lot easier than finding a procedure code in your index. Okay. Nail fold. What happened to the nail fold? The provider performed something on the nail fold. The provider what? The provider performed excision. Okay. On that nail fold, where? In the wedge. Go to 11765. Okay. If you got your CPT book, go back there. Okay. Polypectomy. Where did you have a polypectomy? The provider did a polypectomy. Okay. On the nose. Simple. So he did a simple polypectomy on the nose. So that code is, where is it? I just had it. 30110. You can go to that code if you want to. Okay. But again, I'm just kind of scrolling through to kind of show you guys how the index and the tabular list helps you find your code. Because you're not going to just open up the ICD-10 and then just start looking. There's a process of finding a code. Okay, because it's almost like a giant medical dictionary. So that's the reason why you have to go to the back and look for the code. Okay. So I just kind of ran down musculoskeletal system and how you guys are going to look for those codes. Okay. So a lot of you are already in school, and this is still going to help you. It's going to help you. Okay. Diagnostic surgical procedure. So all of the exercise that are in the step-by-step book, I want you to complete all of those exercises. Okay. I don't have the book up, but you should have your book open. Okay. So you're going to complete all those exercises. Okay. Um, the step-by-step workbook. Okay. The step-by-step workbook. Let me get it. Is that the 2026? Oh, okay. So we got that one. Okay, good. Do we have all the 2026? Uh, 2025, 2025, 2025, 26, 26, 26. Okay, so in the step-by-step workbook, we went over the surgery guidelines. You guys were supposed to do that. That's your exercises in the workbook. So that's what I'm looking at right now. Your exercises for the chapter that you're doing now. That's what I'm looking for. So, in addition to the surgery section, you supposed to do those exercises. Chapter 14, integumentary system, those exercises. The first one is integumentary system in the theory. Dermis, epidermis, subcutaneous. You're just pretty much matching on that. Okay. Your musculoskeletal system. This is the new one that you're doing. Okay. So that's what you're supposed to be doing tonight. That's what you're doing tonight. Okay. Um, After you finish with that, then we're going to go through the CPT book a little bit more, and also your tabular list in your ICD-10. Okay. Extremity. Look for extremity. I'm just kind of we already finished with the classes. I'm not going to do any more. Um, Go to extremity lower revision 35879. So when you actually get there, go to your front of your CPG book and find that code. We're just kind of getting you used to looking for those codes. Okay. So I can't get I probably can. I just have to kind of figure out. I'm not really sure how to let you guys see the book up here. But you guys, again, you guys are supposed to have your book. So I want you to make sure that you have your CPT book and make sure that you are going through that index. Okay. The tabular list in the ICD-10 book, I want you to also go through that because you have tests to do at the end of that. Okay. You have tests to do. Those of you who are want to inquire about the Sapphire Academy or not, I still want you to make sure that you get whatever these are, flash drive. Make sure you get flash drive and put your information on there. Because you guys can also get a flash drive that actually goes to your phone. So you can listen. So you can listen. You can listen to any chat that I've done with you. Okay. I'm having trouble getting a consistency on YouTube. I know we had consistency before, but now I've taken on this other project. It's bumping into my YouTube. Okay, so every time sometimes I schedule, I'm not able to get on. So please, guys, forgive me when I'm not able to get on. You guys should still be working. Okay, you should still be working. I don't want you to get a brand new book if you cannot, because the books cost a lot of money. Okay. If you can get a 2024 or 2025,
guys, you guys ready for tomorrow?
You can. Okay. I don't know why that's on there. Okay. You can. I don't want you to struggle with the books. So that's the reason why I have those index Those index have those books up there. Okay, write them on the index card so you can get them. Okay. The Kindle books are not 100% with all the information in it, but the Kindle books still have enough information for you guys. Okay. So, and like I said, in your CPT book, if there's a code in there that's changed and you can't find it, I will let you know what code it is. Okay. But YouTube, try to get your 2 hours in of studying. As soon as I finish with you, I have some studying that I need to do, and of course, it's almost 9 o'clock, but I'm still gonna get it done. Um, you just have to make time for it. You have to make time for it. So, in the musculoskeletal system, again, we are coming out of the musculoskeletal system. That's where you guys should be. In the musculoskeletal system, I also want you to look at those illustrations. Okay, you're going to have all of your books with you. So don't get freaked out and start tabbing everything in the book and writing notes on everything in the book. Okay. I'm just going to give you a little heads up on illustrations. You see, that's an illustration. Okay. You see the eyeball? That's an illustration. Well, now the eyeball might be on the chest. We ain't get there yet, but the eyeball is going to have um systems and how the eyeball is formed. Okay, yeah, you're gonna need to know that. So just make sure you get your index cards and everything that you need. But my main thing right now is if you forgot the rules of the CPT coding, go back to the beginning of our class. Go back to the beginning of the CPT ICD-10 coding class where I showed you how to code step by step. You can also go to your step by step book and backtrack and go to the beginning. But how we just went over how you guys are going to code, that's what we're going to do. Okay. Go to your index, find the system that you're looking for, find the party that you're looking for. If it is not in that order, flip what you're looking for and find it that way. Okay. Um, the purpose of that is, yes, you're gonna have to get fast. You're gonna have to get fast, not fast for your job, fast for your test, fast for your CPC exam. What my biggest thing was when I was in house, okay, was the fact that my curriculum wasn't as much focused on the CPC or the CCA or the CCSP. It was just billing and coding. Yeah, for $25,000, that shouldn't have been the case. I changed that program. But this program, a coding program, should be focused on passing your exam. Every single thing you do should be on passing your exam. It's not about, and let me hurry up and finish and do this exercise. It's not about, let me hurry up and finish and do this test. It's not about Miss Lambert ain't holding my hand, so I ain't doing nothing. Okay? I don't want to hear that. You got to have that motivation to do what you got to do. If you want to see a light at the end of that dark tunnel, then you're going to have to do the work. You got to put the work in. Okay? You got to put the work in. Okay? If you get to that point where you're just falling off, just bring yourself back. That's all. Bring yourself back. Just okay. Let me get back to what I'm doing. Anybody can start all over. Anybody can start all over. Once you guys sign up for even Sapphire Academy, Sapphire Academy is always around. You can go in the academy anytime you want to get what you need. But you have to remember the purpose of a coding class is so that you can be certified. Okay, like I said, I don't care if it's CCSP, CCA, okay, I don't care what it is, CPC, CPB. That is your journey. That is your focus, and that was one of my disagreements when I was in house. The curriculum, it was an accredited curriculum. Why aren't you guys focusing more on these students passing their CPC exam? It was okay. Let's do the bailing. Let's go coding, and let me grade this. To what extent do you actually think your students are going to pass this test? None. We just let them go after we get $22,000 in student loan. Okay, so what about your students? Let me tell you something. I used to fight with financial aid because this very thing. If I had dudes in registered for one of those coding classes, and he's just waiting for his stipend. And you know what I'm doing? I'm gonna withdraw him right then and there. And me and financial aid, we used to fight because if I withdraw this dude, we're not gonna get money. Okay, and that's in any school. If you drop out before the 6 weeks, we either got to return that money, okay, or they're not going to give us any money. So we try to hold on to the student. I can look at this dude right now. I know he don't even like this cat. He's just waiting for his stipend. I'm gonna withdraw him right away. I don't care what he say. I'm withdrawing him because I'm not gonna let him get a student loan that's gonna carry him forever. And he's only wanting a check from the student loan. No, that's not how I do. If the class is not for you, you better 7 days. If you're not interested in a coding class in 7 days, then coding is not for you. So I don't want people to get a student loan for something that they are not interested in. You see what I'm saying? When you go to college, it has to be something that you have a passion for and that you are going to do. Okay, because you still have to pay back that money. So that's why we did the billing and coding class. They asked me to create the program online so that there can be a program that is not costly like a student loan. It's like a student loan is. So that's the reason why we did it. So to put you in the right place, to help you to develop your own skill, develop your own learning habit. Okay, you know what you want at the end of the tunnel. You're going to do it. You're going to do it. The obstacle that I see a lot of students having is sitting for 2 hours. Sitting for 2 hours. I'm not gonna lie. I used to have one girl. I threw her out of my class. She went upstairs and she told my director I threw her out. And he did. Miss Lambert, did you throw her out of the class? I said, yeah. What, Miss Lambert? Why did you throw her out the class? I guess she didn't want to be in my class. I threw her out. Well, you're here. You don't want to be here. You're wasting my time. So I threw her out of my class. And then she started crying. And then you know what I said? I said, okay, so she's not as tough as she thinks she is, but she's you clowning around in my class. You get out. I'm teaching. Well, you got attitude. So what happened? You know, I was he I wasn't the director then. He was because I would have withdrew her so fast. I don't get what she said, but what he do? He sent her back down to my class and Miss Lambert, give me one more chance. I gave her one more chance. And she sat in that classroom, and guess what? She was one of my best students. And she never mouths back at me again, ever. And I hope to God to this day that she is working in a hospital. It's mind boggling. When you go to school and you put your mind to something that you want to do, just do it and be finished. Okay? Then start your levels. Any career is very hard. All careers are hard. You're gonna have obstacles. You're gonna have things stopping you. You're gonna change. You're gonna do something else. But if you start a coding class, it's not just learning how to code. It's passing a CPC exam or a HEMA CCSP exam or CCA. Okay, because you cannot be a coder without that. You cannot. So if you do medical billing and you take your 6 month medical billing, yeah, I'm gonna hire you as medical billing. I'm gonna hire you as medical billing because I'm not in danger of losing money. I'm not in danger of losing money because in medical billing, they got backups. It's a revenue cycle. If she's in medical billing and she dropped that claim and that claim is wrong and that claim is dirty and it was not scrubbed, the clearinghouse is going to kick it right back. I'm not losing any money. They're going to kick it right back. She's going to clean it up, and then we're going to run it through clearinghouse again, and now we're going to get paid. She, as the coder, is responsible for making sure that that provider is putting in the right codes. Why, Miss Lambert? Because those codes is money. That's Fed money. That's commercial money, right? Patients are paying into their insurance. Okay. So being a certified coder is very important. If you go to school for billing and coding, I met this girl in Connecticut at Trinity Hospital, and she went to school for billing and coding. I, she finished like 2 days, before I met her. And I says, wow, that's amazing. So you have your CPC. No, but I reviewed it. I took so and so. We went over it when I was in class. Okay, so why didn't you take it as soon as you finished? I said, you know what? Here, take that. I'm gonna help you pass your test. I gave her my him test, the same as coding. She can't even get through the second question. You see what I'm saying? So you went to billing and coding school. Mind you, she's already working at the front desk. So what was the purpose of you going to billing and coding school when you still sitting here doing registration? Let me tell you how to flip that around. Put in for the job that you're not qualified for. When you put in for the job that you're not qualified for and they hire you, then they tell you to go to school. When you finish school, you already have the job. You can't work backwards because you done played yourself. So, oh, my bad. Okay, so because I know Trinity ain't paying for nobody when going to school. Trinity has an intranet that has schooling on it. So why would you go to school and your student loan is $22,000 for medical billing and coding? Because you don't even need to do all that for billing. I take a girl that ain't even went to school for billing. As long as she tell me what HIPAA and claim is, all right, I'm gonna teach her what I wanted to do anyway. It's no rule for me to have her. You understand what I'm saying? As long as she got a high school diploma, and she knows about medical billing. Okay, I'm gonna still hire her. She got 6 months under her belt. I'm still gonna hire her. But if you go ahead and tell me you went to school for coding and you coming at me, and you can't pass an exam that I'm giving you, then something ain't right. Then you went to school and you got lost. I've met so many people who have went to school for billing and coding. Just okay. So why'd you go? Just Even if you're not going to be a certified coder, go for billing. Go ahead and stay in the billing. Stay in that mindset of a facility so that you can get used to what you're seeing. Even if you're in an OR, if you're OR admissions or something like that, get used to what you are seeing. Because once you leave that school and you haven't taken your CPC or your certification, you're gonna get lost. All right. So what about the reason that you actually went? So that's why I want you to stay focused. Stay focused. Okay. Don't go too fast. We are at Musculoskeletal System. There's a lot of work to do in musculoskeletal system. Remember, you have to do your exercises and you have to do your workbook. We haven't even headed towards the CPC. And the only thing that we're going to do in the CPC is what I just did. The identifications of how to find a code, finding the code and identifying that the code that you found is the one that you want. Okay, that's the code that you want. I can't even. Okay, so next time I do class, I'm going to do OBS. That code. Wait, I might can do it. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you one. I showed y'all one before. I think I put one up there for y'all. When you go for coding, right? I can't put it on OBS because y'all know I'm mad now. All right, so I can't put it. I can't put it on here, but I can do it on OBS. Go to the chat that I did 2 chats ago. Go look at that HIM test that I put up there. Make sure you have Google Drive. Okay, make sure you guys have Google Drive. Because the HIM test, you have to have Google Drive. It's going to open in a Google Drive format. Okay, because that's the only way I can get you guys docs and make them a link. Make sure you have Google Drive. Okay, so in the step-by-step, you have your reading and you have your work to do, right? Here in your CPT guide, what we went over, we went over a little bit of what we go over in the Sapphire Academy. How you look for a code is step by step. So if you have a code that you need to look for it as is. We code in reverse. When I say we code in reverse, that just means that we pull the number from the letter from the back and pull it in the front. Same thing with the tabular list in the ICD-10. So you're getting used to looking for your code. So in the CPT book, you want to go to your index, look for the code as is, just like how I gave it to you. What did the doctor do? He did an incision on the upper leg. You're going to find that exactly how I said it. And then when you get the code, you're going to go to the code. When you get there, and if it is not, what's that word? Y'all know I hate it. Specificity. How you want it, don't use it. Don't use it. If it's not telling you what he did in his report that he gave you, that we forwarded over to you, okay, from the HIM department that you have, don't use it. You're going to have to use an unlisted code. Okay. If the insurance companies say they want to be more explicit, then kick it back. As long as we got that claim out there, we are not late, claim will be paid XYZ. If the provider has a charge that he has split, that should not be split. You are the one who's supposed to catch that. So I'm just saying this to say the importance of you guys being certified. Years ago, the charge injury person did not have to be certified, but I'm saying that even Trinity, I think, is looking for those girls to also be certified. But take your time, especially if you've already went to school. Don't forget the stuff that you went to school for. Use YouTube as a resource. Use YouTube as a resource to help you. If you need that nudge, then you need to join the Sapphire Academy. Go to my website and register for Sapphire Academy. When I say register, you don't have to show up to a classroom all the time. You don't have to do any of that. You guys are showing up here in the archive and here. You will have access to resources in the Sapphire Academy, okay? And you will be able to get in on the classes in the Sapphire Academy when I do them, okay? And it's a live class just like you guys are doing right now. The only difference is you guys will be visual and you'll be talking and not typing. Okay. So that's pretty much the only thing. But I kind of like the YouTube because you guys can still kind of you guys can type in. Okay. But when you guys send me DM, I get them because I'll never see none of y'all over here. But I see y'all looking at the videos and I see y'all a little bit later on. Okay. And that's fine. If you get stuck, I do expect you to DM me. Okay. I want you to DM me because coding is not easy. Sometimes you need that push. Sometimes you need that nudge going on. All right. So we're finished. We're finished with musculoskeletal system. This is your last day of musculoskeletal system and your step-by-step book. Okay. No, that doesn't mean we're finished with it. I mean, you got a few stages. When we have class again, it's going to be your CPT book again. Okay. So because in your CPT book, that's why I want you to go through your book. Now we're only going through musculoskeletal system. Okay. So the codes that are in the back of your book, you can go find them, go look at them. Even when you go to musculoskeletal system, so you guys can do this tonight. When you go to musculoskeletal system, pull up those codes. Pull up those codes. So if you go to the 20,000 series, right? Pick 5 codes. Pick 5 codes that you wanna look at. Okay. Read the code. Then go find the code in your index. Okay. Then do vice versa. Do vice versa. Find your medical term, find the code, then go get it, in the 20,000 series. And again, this is getting you used to your book. Okay. In the musculoskeletal system, it's going to be a doozy. It's going to be a doozy. Just remember, even if you are working at the hospital, the bills won't be anywhere near the coders, even if they are on the grounds. You're talking about a whole different ball game. The coders are where the coders are. The billers are where the billers are. The collections people are where the collections people call. It's all revenue cycle, but everybody's in a different place. So, years ago, at least everybody was in the hospital, and you can kind of go over there and ask Christy about this, or you can go over there and ask Dawn about that. Now it's different. People are home. So that's why it's crucial for you to understand the ins and out of being a coder. Okay, of being a coder. Once you get it down packed, you're gonna be at home. You can work for 3 or 4 different hospitals if you want to. You can work for individual doctors if you want to. Okay, as long as you don't get tired of the coding. Okay, I encourage you to get used to the coding before the coding changes to 11. When we changed from 9 to 10, it was chaos. A lot of the older generation that are coders retired. So it was a swarm of coders coming in, and we had to hire. Okay, so that's why I want you to be prepared, because I'm not, I don't know if I said that right. I'm not saying nothing against, like us, the older people, but sometimes who wants to learn something new? And I mean, you're almost 70 years old. Anybody trying to learn a new coding? When 11 get ready to come in here, what they're gonna retire. So you need to be ready. You need to be ready for those that's already ready to retire. If you're at that stage and you just now wanting to learn it, then I know you're ready to go. You're ready. Keep at it. Okay. So I was only going to do this chat for 30 minutes, but it looked like we kind of went over a little bit. But in your step-by-step book, okay, I don't have to put it up here because you guys already have your step-by-step book. Y'all know I'm like paranoid of StreamYard cutting off, so that's why I can't even put that up here. But when the class comes back, I don't know what time I'm gonna get out of church. Church was like to 2:30 last Sunday, so I don't even know. So every time I schedule, I have to change it. I have to change it. So I don't want to do that. After church, then I will make a schedule for you guys for Monday, because the next class is Monday. So again, make sure you guys DM me. Okay, do not sleep on the illustrations. Some of you that are new to my class and you haven't gotten in on I can't even say it, in on any of the older classes, go ahead and go to them so you can do archive. And this is amazing. Oh, and also, what is that? Amazon. Amazon has the 2025 AAPC ICD-10 for $74.99. Okay, $74.99. And I think they still have, well, no, the CPT went back to 137. Don't sleep on Amazon. Okay, y'all, don't sleep on Amazon. Okay, Amazon is where they have sales. Okay, and if you guys are independently working alone, just be precarious of what you're doing. Stay on track. Look at that schedule that I put up there. This thing will help you. Is this it? This is going to help you stay on track. Okay, so if you did coding 1 in my class, or SP101, or CDG 1211, or whatever the class number it may be, you could always put it on here. Okay, or you can make something like this yourself. Okay, in the Sapphire Academy, there's one that is more detailed than this. I have not put that up yet. I got to see what I can load on here, what I can't load on here. We may use StreamYard again once I actually get it functioning, working. But I can do a little bit more as far as docs, showing you docs on here that you can see. On the OBS, I can put them on the screens, but I kind of like it this way because I can see it myself. And then when you guys are looking at this on your laptop at home, it's bigger. So, that's why I kind of like to do this. But this is something that you can keep up your classes with. I mean, you're working independently. You can write down what you've already seen. You understand what I'm saying? You can write down the chat that you've already seen. You can write down, what chat you need to look at next. Okay. So that's what that's for. Okay. There are several like this in the Sapphire Academy, because I try to make a lot of resources so that y'all can use, okay, so you guys can use to help you stay on track. Okay, so we're going to end this, but make sure you get your book. I'm not going to do class tomorrow. I'll try to get in here on Monday. My regular class is from 9 to 2. So that's why sometimes I can't get at you guys at a certain time. And 9 to 2, that's my regular Sapphire Academy class. But next class is on Monday. So you got your CPT book, your muscle skeleton you should be doing. There are several exercises in there for you to do. So tomorrow after church, it's all about coding. Y'all should be coding all day long. So remember, you have to go to your index. If you have the code in reverse, if you go to your index and you're looking for that code straight up, just like what it says, and you don't see it, flip that code and look for it in reverse. Okay. Those of you who just came in on this chat, go back and look at this chat so you guys can see what we talked about. Okay. In your CPT book, there are going to be several codes that look a little bit alike. That's when you're going to come in with your highlighter and highlight that one that's looking like the other one. Okay, so do not forget to do that. I know I'm already I'm an hour in. Well, I'm out of here. I'm gonna put the thumbnail up for Monday. Okay, so look out for that thumbnail. Remember your step-by-step reading, your step-by-step workbook. Okay, look at those codes in your CPT book. Make sure you go to your tabular list and your ICD-10. Okay. Yeah, that's the first thing you're gonna do when if you have a diagnosis that you're looking for. If you have a test that you're doing or quiz that you're doing in your step-by-step book and it requires an ICD-10 code, go look for the diagnosis in the back of the book. That's your tabular list. Okay, your diagnosis is a disease, so you're going to have two different ones. Some of these that are in your step-by-step book, they want you to look for the disease, and some want you to look for the procedure. Okay, so that's why I want you to make sure you have both of your books with you. Okay, you may not see some in your HCPCS book at this time, but you will. Okay, but right now I want you to focus on these two. Okay, so I know I'm supposed to be out of here in a minute. I know y'all know I got a ton of things to do, but tell your friends, tell your family, y'all subscribe. Make sure y'all give me a thumbs up. Okay, those of you who hung out in this chat, make sure you give me a thumbs up on the video. Okay, so we're gonna end stream. I'll see you guys again. Tomorrow is your new chat. Bye bye.